Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in Modern. Today we're looking at Belcher. Belcher, named after the titular card Goblin Char Belcher, is a combo deck that seeks to cast and activate the game-winning artifact as fast as possible. Char Belcher mills you until you hit a land and deals that much damage to the opponent. The deck makes use of modal double-faced lands, which have a front side that technically don't count as lands, to mill your entire deck and deal that much damage. But Char Belcher costs 4 mana to cast and 3 to activate, a total of 7 mana if you want to do it in one turn without giving your opponent a window to interact. To that end, it plays a number of fast mana cards like Desperate and Pyretic Ritual to cast Char Belcher as fast as possible. Iron Crag Feat is the best one since it produces exactly enough mana to cast and activate Belcher immediately. Because you need Belcher to win, you must aggressively mulligan for it or a way to find it. There are a few cards in the deck that let you dig for it, the best being Recross the Paths, a spell that, like Belcher, reveals cards until you find a land. Since you won't find one, it allows you to stack your deck in exactly the order you want. In general, the order you should choose is Reforge the Soul at the top so you can Miracle it next turn and draw whatever pieces you need to win. Some of the modal double-faced lands have useful spell modes as well, such as Valakut Awakening and Spikefield Hazard. The deck also has a complicated backup win condition involving Pyromancer Ascension in case Char Belcher doesn't work out for whatever reason. For this combo, you'll need Ascension, a Ritual, 2 Balaged Recoveries, and either Strike It Rich or Monomorphose to filter red into green. Here are the steps. Get Ascension to 2 counters. From here, every spell you cast will be doubled. Cast a Ritual generating 6 mana. Cast either Strike It Rich or Monomorphose to convert some of the red into green and generate an additional 1 to 2 mana. Cast Balaged Recovery, retrieving the Ritual and the color filtering card, and cast them again. Cast the second Recovery, retrieving the first one and one of the other cards. Continue to cast Recovery, retrieving the other one and one of the other 2 cards to generate infinite mana. From there, you can win in a number of ways by recurring different cards with Recovery. Spikefield Hazard deals infinite damage. Pact of the Titan or Amiria's Call generate infinite tokens, which you can then give haste with Song Mad Treachery. Sideboarding and how to beat it. Belcher works best against decks ill-prepared to stop it, especially combo decks slower than itself, ramp decks, and decks with creature removal. Because Belcher plays no creatures, it isn't susceptible to any removal that targets creatures, leaving many opponents with dead cards. As a consequence, Belcher is one of the few decks for which playing Magus of the Moon is better than Blood Moon, since opponents will bring in answers like Force of Vigor that target Belcher and Moon, but take out removal for creatures. Belcher struggles against cards that can interact with it, especially things like Counterspell and Thoughtseize. It's also weak to hate cards like Stony Silence. Graveyard Hate can also fizzle its backup Ascension combo. As a Belcher player, you must be aware of and plan for hate cards out of various decks. For example, Force of Vigor is quite poor against Blue-White Control, but you need it to combat Stony Silence. Tips and tricks. If you resolve Recross the Paths and you're worried about counterspells, you can put multiple Reforge the Souls on top, so if the first one gets countered, you have another one for next turn. Or if you can afford to wait, put Pact of Negation on top of Reforge. Char Belcher can target anything, not just players, which is relevant if you can't target the opponent, for example if they control Leyline of Sanctity. It also stacks your deck the same way Recross the Paths does. Many of the modal double-faced lands aren't just for show and have relevant abilities. For example, Spikefield Hazard can pick off Ragavan, Inkmoth Nexus, and other 1-toughness creatures and exiles the undying creatures of Yawgmoth's combo. Valakut Awakening can dig for Belcher and other cards. You can use Song Mad Treachery to steal Death's Shadow and kill them with their own shadow. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Belcher. I want to thank my fellow players in the Magic community for whom sharing their experiences helps make these guides possible. You can find additional resources, such as an up-to-date deck list, in the description. If you think I left out anything important or got something wrong, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned to see what deck we look at next time.